This is
It's My Show,
but not my show.
Active FM, this is my show, but not my show. Luando and my man Musa from South Africa in Johannesburg.
I am the Bluesman, and grateful that you're listening to the show today. And as always, it's going to be an interesting show. We're going to learn about new interesting things. I'm with Luando, and obviously, you know, we're from Johannesburg South. You know that, right? And the topic today is a response in preparation. A response in preparation. Interesting topic, I tell you. I had to say it twice there because you needed to just understand a response in preparation. So basically, before we get to it, we're going to thank the listeners for listening, and please share the show. Let your friends know about Not My Show, because it's our show, but not our show, because truly it's God's show at the end of the day. So let's spread the word, because we do talk about things that are needed to be spoken about. So the topic today is a response in preparation. So when you prepared, you're normally not surprised by challenges, because preparing makes you wonder in the future. So imagine a life of not preparing. Imagine that you don't prepare anything. Do you really think you're going to be able to predict what actually is going to happen? So let me tell you a personal story, because as I always say, we are personal show, you feel me? So before, probably like 4 odd years ago, I used to do MMA as a sport. So MMA is a fighting sport, mixed martial arts. I used to love it. So obviously before the fight, you prepare probably like 3-4 months before the fight. You're preparing, sometimes even a year. It depends on the money and the coaches you have and all of that. But you prepare before you fight. I mean, they used to make us jog for long. Like we used to jog for an hour, take a 15-minute break, jog for an hour back. So it's an hour to where we're going and an hour back, but 15-minute break only, then we jog back. And then we used to put like a tire, a rope around our waist, and then the huge tractor, a tractor tire, the rope is also tied on that. So when you're running, you're basically pulling that tire, and you run. And then there's the one way we used to crawl. So now you literally, the tire is like tied on you while the rope is on you, and then the rope to the tire, and now you're dragging the tire, but you're walking like an animal. Like basically like you're crawling. So we used to do hectic things like that, and obviously the normal push-ups, some weightlifting, depending on what kind of fighter you are. So it was a lot of preparation before the fight. I mean, we used to go for tests and all of that. Used to see if, let's say, there's a problem with you, and that sicknesses, and that some people had to actually shave their hair because some certain cuts they won't be able to see while you're fighting. So if they punch you on the face, there's a certain cut you get that you won't see. What I'm trying to say is, before a fight, we go through all of that preparation, and when you get into the ring, you're actually ready. You've prepared for this fight, no matter if you win or you lose, but you've prepared for it. You prepared, you know what to expect. You've studied the other guy, because I remember when I was fighting this other guy, literally my coach at the time, he actually got information on how that other guy fights now, so it can help me prepare and all of that, because the other guy seemed as that, like, he was like strong. He was a tough guy, so my coach had to go to his side, and then, well, not really his side, but through connection wise and that. So he prepared for me and told me, now this guy is like this. You need to be like this. He's a bit slow. You need to just focus on your speed. This. So it was all talk like that. And it was interesting. It was very, very interesting, because we prepared. Now, let me give an example of not preparing. Well, let me carry on with the preparing before I give an example of not preparing. So I was prepared for the fight. And when I got there, I was confident. I wasn't surprised because I was prepared. I wasn't surprised how the guy was going to fight me because my coach had told me, he had prepared me already of how this guy's fighting style is like. He was a heavyweight. So yeah, I knew just what to do. But I started getting a bit more prideful because now I knew I could fight now, you know. So you start taking things for granted. You have this attitude of, you know what are you gonna do about it? Now I was still in school, so I was like, what are you gonna do about it? I was a bit more cheeky to people. And I'm a quiet person. So in school, I always used to be alone. But I used to like picking fights too. So let's say if someone walks past me and look at me weird, I'm gonna look at them weird, and then they say something, then I use whatever they said to start a fight. So that's basically what I did. And yeah, most of those fights I won. But there's a fight I didn't win because I wasn't prepared. So I got surprised. I was thinking I'm a big fish. I'm the big boss in the city. Thinking, you know, I can take on anyone. Hey, little did I know I was gonna get knocked. Little did I know, because I wasn't prepared. Do you see the importance of being prepared now? If you're preparing for stuff, you actually see life in the future. You actually look at life. Okay, look, I want a car now. I want a car. What can I do to get this car? Okay, now you think, okay, no, I can get this car maybe in 2 years' time. So in 2 years, I'll get that car. But I need to prepare to get that car now. I need to fix my finances and that. Imagine if you just get the car now without sorting out your financial bills, without sorting out anything. Do you really think you'll have that car for long? I don't think so. So unpreparation causes surprise. It surprises you, like, ta-da, open the box, dang, like those clown things that pop out of box when you, I don't know if you guys have the same imagination as me, but that doing thing, yeah, that thingy thing. So if you don't prepare, you get surprised, like hectically surprised. That's why it's very important to prepare, because once you prepare, you know what you have to do to get where you want to be. So to get that car now, to prepare for that fight, I know I need to burn this sort of weight, or I need to gain this sort of weight, or this sort of speed, or I need to learn the praying, because with our coach, he used to teach us the praying mantis kind of fight, like the stand of it, and fight technique. They used to call it a praying mantis. So basically, I didn't have my hands close to my chin, but I had them sticking out. But yeah, if it was a video, you'd see, but it would look like a praying mantis, literally. Mantis, whatever that is. It would look like one, literally. And then if a punch comes, I can easily smack it away and then hit back quick. So it was all about speed. Just smack the punch away, hit back. Because I use his forces to smack his punch away. So if he was coming with his force, I just slip his punch away, then I hit. So I was prepared. I was taught all of that. Everything like that I was taught. But imagine if I haven't learned all of that, and then I go into a fight now with someone who was prepared. Because trust me, if you're not prepared, the devil is prepared. He knows what he's doing. So you need to prepare yourself every morning. Preparing yourself is every morning reading the Bible and making sure you get that connection with God. That's preparing yourself, because what happens if something bad happens, like now the pandemic, in other words? What happens now if you haven't prepared, if you haven't built your faith? You see, so preparing is very like key in life, because without it you get surprised. I mean, we're surprised now at the pandemic, man. It just bam, lockdown. Like, what? Lockdown? South Africans locked down. It's like, what? I don't know how it is at your country, but here in South Africa they're not really taking in the lockdown thing. But the point is, you need to prepare for what you do. You need to sit down and think, okay, now this is what I need to do. This is how I will get it, and this and that and that. I actually have a notebook of what I want in the future. I already know next year what I want. I know in 5 years' time what I want. And not really 10 years, but I can see myself somewhere in 10 years. So it's important to prepare your life and prepare everything, because now imagine you come unprepared and then you get a huge shock. For example, like you want to talk about something, And then, just like a crazy example, you want to talk about something very serious, and this can be life changing to someone, but you taking it for granted. You're like, I trust my abilities. This guy, I can just say this. You'll be fine immediately. And then you just go without preparing. Even if you have all the knowledge in the world, I say you still need to prepare, because you need to meet the guy where he's at. So preparing is very key, because you can lose someone by not preparing. You can lose yourself by not preparing. You can lose your dreams by not preparing. So prepare your life. That's the lesson I'll give. Let me hand over to Lwando. It's a blues world, man.
Yeah, here we are, strong as always. Yeah, very, very tough, you know. When you're tough down deep to your bones, to their core. That's how tough we are. Especially, I believe, guys from the South. All people from the South, they're just, strong. Sometimes it doesn't make sense how, we make it through so much difficulties that surround us, we find ourselves in. But here we are again, we're talking about something that's very interesting. A response in preparation. So we believe that can actually just bring a revolution in your life. This can be something that can make your life better. And talking about this thing, it's just one of the things that make me it made me to sit down like, yeah, this is incredible. And I feel it's something that's very creative, but it makes me think. It makes me, sit down and start having, ideas in my mind, popping out of my mind and saying, how do I really implement this thing in my life? Because I believe that it will make things easier for me. Sometimes we find ourselves under pressure. Why? Because we're not prepared. A response in preparation. So I'll give an example. When you wake up late, and now you need to go to work and you're late. Think about, I'll just give an example. Just have this picture. Picture this, whatever that I'm trying to create in your mind, trying to portray. Here you are, you run to the shower, you eat, but you're rushing. You go, and normally you catch a taxi. So how things are in South Africa, it's like you have, taxis that they're really not good sometimes, or we have buses. But one of the things I've noticed with our buses is that when you go catch a bus around 7 a.m. in the morning, or 8 a.m. in the morning, what happens is that now the bus is too full, because most of the times that's when people, it's like this is the time that people they go to work. And from I don't know how many kilometers to town from where I stay, Musa, you can imagine, and you're standing. But if you go catch a bus that goes around like 6 a.m. in the morning, you have your own seat, you're sitting down, and you're not under pressure. You don't have someone trying to pass, but they pushing against you, they stepping on your feet, stuff like that. Maybe you just bought a new shoe, or you're wearing something that's white and something happens. You know what I'm saying? And another thing is that now there you are, you come out of the bus in town and it's full. As you walk in the streets, this person is trying to jump the rope, or the taxis. And why? Because it's so full and it's like so chaotic. But if you're someone who's just prepared, it's like you have this peace of mind, this freedom. Even when you walk in the streets in the morning, you're going to work, you're at town, you don't have that much people, and you just walk peacefully, and there's this space. You have space within yourself. And I believe that's exactly what preparation does for you as a person, that you do things when you're prepared. You're not under pressure. You do things while you have space. You have enough time. You get what I'm saying? And you're not rushing into things. Now imagine I wake up around 4 and I do my stuff, go to gym, come back and do what I'm supposed to do, pray, read my Bible, stuff like that. And I mean, when it's 6, I can be someone who's start catching a taxi or a bus. and I don't have now to find myself in a chaotic bus, crowded bus or train or whatever it is, and find myself in a city and it's crowded, it's hard to walk. And why? Because preparation helps us. Preparation helps us to not find ourselves under pressure. And I was actually thinking about, if you had to manufacture a product, and I believe your product will go on in terms of time, you know what I'm saying, as much as you thought of the future. How much of the future is involved in manufacturing the product. You know what I'm saying? And what is this product, prepared for? And if you think about things like spoon, most of the times I believe there are times where we didn't have spoon, but the fact that someone thought of a spoon, it doesn't matter how technology changes, you know what I'm saying? But it's like when it comes to spoons, it's just a product that doesn't change. You know what I'm saying? And someone thought of the future. This is something that people will always need. And that's actually the thing that, I believe that, as a business person, someone who's actually looking forward to, starting a business, that I need to be so prepared that my product will last in any generation to come, in any time to come, because that's how much I'm prepared with my mind. And I know this topic that we're talking about, myself and Musa, we have actually, I sort of touched into like small things like work and, your product and all that. But to be honest, for me, this is like everything. Being prepared. Let me read this verse for you. It comes from the book of Genesis chapter 3 verse 15. It says, "From now on, you and the woman will be enemies, as will your offspring and hers. You will strike his heel and he will crush your head." Man has sinned. Man has sinned, and these are the consequences. But I love listening and reading out these, consequences to myself that are given to man and the woman and the serpent, because, they have disobeyed God. They have went against what God, put in place, the rules of God. And what happened is that, but as God speaks to a woman, God sounds as someone who is prepared, because right there in the curse being given, we find hope, because God shows that, through the woman, the serpent that has deceived the women and men will be crushed. So God is actually talking, but is talking including the future, and he is aware of the future, which means God is actually prepared. You know what I'm saying? And think about the fact that, we are in different countries, and we find ourselves in an experience, I don't know, we call it an adventure, probably like a negative adventure, because we never thought that we'd be in lockdown. And most of us, a lockdown issue, it seems like a punishment, but we never thought of that. It's not part of our life. It's not part of our norm. It's not how we do things. You know what I'm saying? You can't be successful without people. We are used to, being surrounded by people, working with people. This is how we move. I mean, I don't remember any time, anywhere, where people have been in lockdown, even in history. According to the history that I know and I've actually, studied, I don't remember any time when people found themselves, in lockdown. You know what I'm saying? But here we are. And what amazes me, it's the people, probably like, your prominent leaders, people are up there, people who are part of the government that's running with the vision of each nation. And what I've noticed is that most countries, including my country, the reason why we find ourselves in so much mess and so much fear is because we have never thought of such. And the reason why we never thought of such and we find ourselves in fear, why? Because we have never thought of such. We're caught by a surprise. This is a surprise to us, something that we never thought of. You know what I'm saying? It was never part of our plan. The reason why is because we are not a prepared nation. Hope it makes sense. Because the moment you have to prepare, when you prepare, preparation makes you wonder in the future. Sometimes you just find yourself, there you are, you're thinking about the future, there you're wondering in the future, in the world of the future, and you're trying to find out what would happen, how things will happen, because you're trying to prepare. But we have never been people like that. Most of the leaders, they have never done that. The reason why we're surprised and we are in fear is because we are not people that are always prepared. But you look at God and how he handled this thing. It's like he was not throwing tables down and up and turning trees, splitting rivers, the seas and all that, turning around, the clouds in the skies. They didn't do that because he was prepared. It was not like, I'm surprised you really did this thing. No, God was prepared. You see what I'm saying? And that's actually the thing. And most of the times, when we're not prepared and we find ourselves, being hit by a surprise, by something that we never expected, what happens is that we lose focus. I mean, not being prepared itself is just a matter of not being focused. But think about it. I feel like, preparation is something that's involved in anything. Why would you fail a test? Why would you fail an exam? It's because you're not prepared. You know what I'm saying? Why would a train leave you? It's because you're not prepared. Why would you fail an interview? Why wouldn't they employ you? In most cases, maybe there are issues, or someone maybe doesn't like you, the fact that they see you. I believe there are people like that. But most of the times, because they would employ someone else, they don't employ you. Why? Because you're not prepared as a person. You know what I'm saying? So preparation, it's something that's very, very, very significant in our lives. So looking, in our nation, most of the times things happen. In our nation where a disaster happens, maybe something that you never expected. Maybe something like when we do project management, we talk about your scope creep. So where you try to figure out what can happen to a project, things that normally you can't stop. Maybe it's the weather, or it's an earthquake that can delay your project or affect your project. You see what I'm saying? But that helps you to prepare. What I'm saying is, most of the times we find ourselves in places where a country is hit by a tsunami or an earthquake, and it's so hard to recover. Why? Because we never prepared for such things. You know what I'm saying? Why would you find yourself in a mess in terms of your finances? You know what I'm saying? Most of the times, if something happens into a nation or happens to your job, there you are, you find yourself losing everything because you never had savings. Savings is just a different mind that prepares for the future. You know what I'm saying? Why, when now a child falls sick, there you are, you borrowing money, stuff like that. This is very important. This is crucial. This is something that changes us as people in our families. Even I believe in our businesses, stuff like that. Why would that happen? Why then do you find yourself in this big, debt? Because you were not prepared. You were not prepared. So I believe that, the best way forward to equip ourselves is to be prepared. Because I believe salvation itself, this is the thing. This is like the greatest assurance that you can give to anyone. We talk about insurance. If something happens to your car, we'll cover up that for you. Just keep paying this and this and this and this and this. And that's how salvation is. You know what I'm saying? Christ came and he died for us. He was prepared for that. That's why he did that. And Christ came so that we can be like him. We can be prepared when we die, so that we will be able to make it to heaven. You know what I'm saying? Because when we believe in Jesus, that means we're prepared for death. That death won't take us away from God. Death won't take us away from our destiny. You know what I'm saying? So that's what the gospel is about. The gospel is about you being prepared for the future. And I hope you stay blessed, and I hope God, moves in your life. This has been incredible, and this is something that can change your life. What are you gonna do to sit down and say, I wanna be prepared? You gotta be prepared when hell is knocking and but wow, Jesus just pops out of you and say, I've saved this man. He's punished for his sins based on what I did for him on the cross. So that's the thing. That's the most important thing. When you know that Jesus was punished for your sins, you don't have to be punished anymore. When you know that Jesus went through suffering, you don't have to have all these demons, poking yourself and stuff like that, because Jesus covered that. You know what I'm saying? So now you have the right future. And all we say is that stay prepared. Stay prepared. When you stay prepared, you stay focused. When you prepared, you stay encouraged. When you prepared, you have freedom and you enjoy what life is. Have a good time. So we're going to give an opportunity to accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. You can pray this prayer. Say, "Dear Jesus, I accept you as my Lord and Savior. Thank you for everything. I believe in you. Cover me with all that you have done. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen." Don't forget to visit our website www.activefm.co.za, our Facebook page /@ActiveFM 777, our Instagram page ActiveFM 777, our Twitter @ActiveFM. ActiveFM.
Active FM. Radio has never been better.